welcome back. Today I'm on location here at Conkles Hollow State Nature Preserve. It's about an 87 or so acre state nature preserve, and it's one I've been looking forward to visiting here. It's been highly anticipated for me just because it has a couple of waterfalls, some gorge rock faces to hike amongst, and yeah, it's just some nice scenic views in the woods here and along all these deciduous and pine trees. So I arrived here, it's midday, so it's pretty busy. Parking lot's very large, but it's almost entirely filled. So I managed to break away on this one-way trail, the red trail in particular. There's two prominent trails, color-coded that is. And I'm just gonna start hiking here and see what I can find. But so one neat thing was actually, right as I was getting onto the trailhead, or about ready to start, is I found this bridge that crossed along the creek here. And at least I believe it was a creek or some kind of stream, flowing waterway. And I started doing some abstracts, doing some 35 millimeter focal length, just abstracts pointing straight down at the water as it's midday light, but it had a very iridescent glow on this kind of murky brown water and producing some blue colors, some intonations in there, and just trying to like a pattern textural kind of shot. And yeah, I think they turned pretty well. I was shooting at about, let me double check this. So I was shooting very wide open because I was doing it handheld. As you can see, I'm traveling light today with just my wide angle, my DSLR, and I do have my small telephoto 75-300 on me as well. Traveling real light, it's a couple miles of trail in total, but I'm just going to stick to that for now. And yeah, I was shooting about f4.5, which is a very wide aperture for me, but I was shooting handheld, so I'd have to let in more light naturally. 200th of a second in ISO 400, and yeah, I think the results turned pretty well. It was really a much more abstractual shot, which is really what I was going after. But as I was flowing downstream from where I was pointing the camera at straight down, there's little bits of green leaves that were flowing in the frame. So I kind of incorporated those. Those weren't in my original vision for the image, I guess, that I had in mind, but I did include them in some of the frames too, and even lined them up pretty nicely with the shadow of a tree trunk as it just jaggedly goes diagonally straight across the frame in the shots I took. So that worked out pretty well. So yeah, I don't know what else I'm gonna do here for the day, just because I'm in the shade here, but it's very spotty kind of lighting, since I think we're right after high noon. Actually, never actually at 2 o'clock, believe it or not, but it's still very bright sunlight. And so I'm not really quite sure what I'm gonna do yet. Probably waterfalls and stuff are out of the question for today, or at least my visit here. And but maybe just experimenting with some more abstracts like that, or maybe some closer, more intimate details that I can pick apart with a small telephoto zoom lens. And of course, while shooting handheld, which is something I don't really do too much of, particularly enjoy, just because I like to have the stability and everything to compose and frame my compositions with the tripod, of course. So anyways, I've talked on enough. I'm gonna go ahead and go along here, but like most state nature preserves, they prohibit lots of different things, like pets are not allowed. Picking wild mushrooms or flowers or any kind of natural material and plant matter that's here is strictly prohibited. So I think with that being said, I'm gonna keep going here and just take a little wander about. Like I said, a couple miles, so should be a somewhat strenuous hike with some hilly and rocky terrain, but it should be a nice fun one, even though nonetheless here. So let's go ahead and keep going here and see what Conkles Hollow has to bring today. So I'd highly recommend, if you go up on these overlooks, they're very scenic by the way, but I would recommend that you wear some really good traction, footwear, just because it is pretty sketchy, and just looking at the drop off and everything. I don't know how far down it is, but it looks like it's very far. Plus, just with all the wind up here at this higher elevation. But yeah, just look at this tree line just surrounding. I mean, it's honestly, you're on this higher level and you just see all the rolling hills here in the Hocking region. It's very pretty. This might be a place, maybe not so much today. I'm taking much photographs. I don't know I'm planning on really necessarily. It's more so like a pre-scouting day and sharing the location with you guys. But feeling like during like peak autumn foliage, probably one of the best times I'm guessing to be here, just because all these trees and everything, deciduous leaves fall off, they all change color and everything. And I bet this whole entire landscape out here just looks very breathtaking. I had to guess, but there's a lot of different pull-offs here and these overlooks. They're just on these stone, these cliff faces. There's some you see out there. There's natural weathering geological formations, which is really cool. You know, so it's just nice to see how, you know, everything over time with glaciated Ohio has eroded away and everything. And surprisingly, there's no one up here, so it's kind of weird. I'm hearing lots of talking and laughter and everything, and people down there. At least on the lower and the woodland floor, but yeah, I haven't really crossed anyone since I've gone up here, which is really strange. But it says it's part of the trail, so I don't know, it just seems kind of weird. But it's nice to kind of get these scenic overlooks and take a few documentation shots at a wider angle, like 16mm here, and just, you know, document the experience of being here for the first time. And so far I'm really liking the nice views up here. And like I said, maybe future visits will be, you know, much more viable option for photographs, or when it's not midday light like it is right now, which is just what I happen to be working with, you know, to the extent of my trip here so far. So I'll go ahead here and keep going, and I'll talk to you guys in a bit. I can almost guarantee that, you know, in this particular spot, you know, just with the way these rocks are slumped over, is that there used to be some water flowing, probably right down here to the, looks like the end of the cliff over here. But yeah, there's at least, I think, about 6 so far. This might be another one. It looks like up here, these like scenic overlook areas, which are very cool, like I said, which is something very neat and makes it unique to the location, which is what I'm all about. It's, you know, finding the unique, you know, natural features of each location I visit for the series. And I also think, like I said, it's important to challenge yourself and grow as a photographer and try out different things. Like I'm doing, you know, midday light like this, and I'm doing handheld mode, which is something I don't, you know, quite often do, of course. And then a little bit ago I actually did some experimenting with some spot metering and actually some spotlight onto some leaves on the ground, and just having basically the whole surrounding area around it, you know, drop out of focus and out of exposure and become this deep silhouette, naturally speaking, which is awesome. And just doing some spot metering onto these leaves that have all the light on it, which basically means I'm metering for a certain particular location on the frame, at least with my camera sensor here. Yeah, I think from here I'm gonna keep going along here. I don't know how much farther I have, honestly. I've not been tracking stats for this hike because I've been stopping quite a bit, but I think I'm gonna go up here. Still have not passed anyone, which is really strange. Seen some striped chipmunks at least, which is pretty cute. They're just running along the rocks here and everything, scurrying about. But I may try some black and white kind of landscapes, like convert them later on, like I said, in post-production to black and white, just of these giant tree lines and, you know, the hills, you know, surrounding the Conkles Hollow here. And yeah, maybe see how those look. So I don't know, it's worth a shot, so I may try it. So yeah, let's go ahead and try it, I guess. Why not? You know, I'm here, so I might as well record the memory and the experience and try something different here. So that's what I'm going to do here. So I'm gonna try that, and I'll talk to you guys in a bit. Part of me finds it hard to believe this is even Ohio. I mean, honestly, the more and more I go out and branch out to farther away locations, especially the ones that are just very unique, geographically speaking, like this one, it's just amazing to think that, you know, people just think, you know, Ohio's a bunch of farmlands or meadow and prairie or just woods. I don't know, it's just stuff like that. I'm like, there's so much more out here when you really get to see it. But looks like the scenic overlooks are over with now. There's so many of them, but now I'm in these, so I'm entering some woodland here. I mean, more like the spruce and hemlocks, I believe, eastern hemlocks in particular. But yeah, it's just very nice. The elevation change is quite drastic, and fortunately, like I said, this nature preserve is not too big, but you know, there's a lot to it even still. So I'm gonna go ahead and keep going here. It looks like there's a trail marker up ahead. I'm gonna gather my bearings where I'm at, but I probably won't film too much speaking bits down the other trail, just because there's a lot of people, and you know, that goes with me and other people is all that stuff. So I'm gonna go ahead here and keep going. So far it's been a pretty nice day. Just check out the views and stuff. It's very beautiful weather, very, very warm, blue sky days, which for photography means kind of but overall it's just a very beautiful kind of weather and setting to be hiking in, of course. There's just a massive sea of ferns down here, right where this like recessed cave is, and it's just quite stunning to say the least, which I know I've been saying a lot, but it's I don't even know how to really put in the words how just being here and just seeing it all in person finally, after seeing photos online for like past couple of years really, finally taking the time to actually go here and just check it out. It's well worth the visit, that's all I can say. It's been very, very nice so far. Photos or not, it's just been nice to just see this geological marvel really in person. So I'm still along the Gorge Rim Trail. I think it's about 1.5 miles, but it just feels like I've been on here a long time, but it is a little rocky and at points, and so it's going to take it a little longer, of course. But once I actually get done with that, then I'm going to go down on the inner gorge portion, which takes you to the actual like inside everything, and it shows you the the inner workings and details of that part of the preserve here. And hopefully there's some waterfalls. I did pass by over there at the bend of a part of the gorge here. I did hear some noticeable flow into like a pool of water, so pretty sure one of the waterfalls at least is flowing. It looked like there's about 2 of them total on the trail map, and so we will see basically what becomes of it. It may not be anything worthwhile. Then again, it might be deeply in shadow and just look pretty nice, and I may run back to the car and get the tripod. So I don't know yet quite what I'm going to do, but first I have to actually find it and then see it, of course. But you do have to hike a little ways to get to those waterfalls, because they're at the end of the trail there. So keep going here, and there's nice woodland over here. It's just very, very nice, pleasant to be in the shade after being in the heat so much, and the overlooks on the other side of the gorge here. So yeah, it's just quite stunning to just see everything, like I keep saying, in person. So I really would recommend this place. A nice visit. Probably in like most places in all seasons, it's probably the best way to approach it. But all right, so I'm gonna keep going here. Honestly, I think I like it better and going right to the middle of the gorge. It's just really impressive just to seeing the elevation change from being up on the rim trail, which took a good hour and a half, to hike through. It wasn't that many miles, but it was just lots of just rolling hills and quite some drop-offs and stuff, and just some rocky terrain you had to really be careful on, and the tree roots as well. But yeah, it's just really otherworldly, kind of like these big old slump blocks, like this one over here that had like a little sign marker next to it, and these as well, just kind of grouping right here. And it's pretty cool because you can just see right where they fell naturally over time into the gorge below, and just all of the different ferns just laid out right here too is just really impressive. There was I think it's called Diagonal Cave, but it looks like it was closed due to lots of off-trail use, unfortunately. But I could see it way off in the distance on this side, quite a ways back on the trail here. But it looked really impressive as well. It looked like the same thing as reminiscent of Old Man's Cave. I will say the nice thing about getting on this pretty flat terrain over here is that this is all concrete and it's wheelchair accessible, so it makes for a nice flat, easy walk compared to the more strenuous hike up above. But so I'm pretty much glad about that. But just seeing just the giant cliff faces, oh my gosh, it's amazing to think this is even Ohio, honestly. Just look how high up that goes. This is something special. Yeah, this is just something special. I don't even know what to say now. It is incredible seeing all this, man. Wow. The nice thing is all the sunlight that was pooling in, from the rim trail up on the gorge. Now it's pretty much all still up there, but now none of it's going to be down here in the lower part of the gorge, which means photographs for me are going to be a lot easier to compose and think about methodically. So I may take a couple of them while I'm here. If something really just persists and needs me to get the tripod, I'll run back to the car, because fortunately it isn't that too far off from here to get to it. So I may try that as well. But Is this the end of the trail? I think it is. No. It just looked like it from that angle, but wow. This is insane. Check this out. Look how dark and shadowy that is in the cave. I can almost hear my echo just talking in a low hush hush like this. You think everyone else can hear me too? Actually, just being in the gorge is just really like surreal and otherworldly. So I went all the way to the back end there, and it actually is flowing a decent amount. It's not really anything too crazy to write home about, but it's very deeply, darkly in shadow. And so I'm thinking, I'm really tempted. I think I'm gonna go back to the car just because it's not too far away from here. Get the tripod, get the headlamp, and that should, you know, pop out and get some light painting almost with the waterfall and expose it a lot better. And then yeah, just take some different, maybe some images with the tripods since I already have it, to just all the different rock and stuff in the gorge here and all the blackhand sandstone that's present here in the Hocking region. So I think that's what I'm gonna do here, but my battery's almost dead on this, so I'm gonna wrap up the video here. If I do get any other photos, I will, you know, of course, put them at the end of the video. But unfortunately, it's gonna be a little rushed because I won't be explaining my process and my settings quite as much. So apologies there. But thanks so much for watching, everyone. This has been Conkles Hollow State Nature Preserve. Until next time, make sure to get out here. Thank you.